one will find that, before the healing is complete, one will and must suffer the anger of the time of the darkness of oneself. From coming to realize this and understand the importance of this most profound part of the healing journey, many matters of the mind and heart must be understood precisely. If not, then the healing in its completeness will not take place inside of the human being. This reveals another internal time of when before the healing is complete, one is faced with a time of which a choice has to be made during the time of great anger and rage, and therefore, a time of turmoil of which a final decision will be made in terms of one's state of immortality. The darkness is present in all of its dual components, and must be faced as a storm which will not be passing from you, because the storm is in fact, you. The darkness of oneself is present in all of its might. The immense anger of what transpired now serves as an agent in effect and intention, to prevent one from the healing which must take place. It is the effects of the past hurts of which is trying to convince the host that remaining within the darkness of the rage and the anger is the destiny of oneself. This is a lie of which only making the wrong choice will be the truth to yourself, and therefore, your self-destruction. The first stage of anger is knowing that what was said or done to you was morally wrong and unacceptable. The truth of knowing of what is right and what is wrong, and knowing that one has performed nothing for to be harmed or humiliated. The effects of the perception of being unjustly treated and misunderstood, as well as being purposely misunderstood for the convenience of those who oppose your peace of mind and spirit. Choosing not to respond inadequately, in opposition to what is commonly asserted as adequate, opens up another storm of challenge. Not performing what the common human being would do, is a human being who decides to move forwards without acting upon a self-destructive resolve, which in fact is beneficial resolve to him or her if the results are not perceived as self-destructive. Having the wisdom and intelligence to move forwards without destroying oneself upon an established common state, is a task beneficial, however, a difficult one. The regret of not striking out in matters, even upon the physical, which would seem righteous, based upon personal moral principle rooted in ego, and justified in the common state of intelligence, holds a journey which is difficult to venture, but not impossible to survive if one is willing to endure with wisdom. To survive this journey, one comes to know that to live through this time of darkness, one must die to the previous mind which is commonly activating upon the emotional state of being. You must no longer be what you were, for the sake of becoming that which you must be. It has forever been about you, and not of how the environment and its members has affected you. The immense state of anger is a time of suffering as well as a time for critical meditation. It is a time of a choice that is precise. It is a time of coming to know who and what you are, as this is the primary purpose of why this times of darkness is made to be the most intense. It is worth the journey. It is a time of deciding on who you want to be in accordance to who you are destined to become. The inflictions of the past, rather physical or verbal, hold inside of the memories an intelligence that is profoundly convincing of the darkness being present and of how the darkness should be considered a permanent ally. The convincing factor is allowed by the divine, for to understand the consequences of your choosing to remain inside of the darkness of the anger, or to allow the creator of the universe to bring you through the healing that you may be born into who and what you have forever been. Along the journey, we all have been diverted of the principal way. This has been the case including through our own earthly families, as well as those whom asserted to be a family upon the principles of morality. As all of these times are rooted in religious doctrine as well as culture and tradition, one comes to know that their destiny and therefore, their very existence is beyond doctrine. It is beyond trappings and demands of culture and of tradition. And in time, the behavior of those in the environment reveal this when you are suddenly rather openly, or in the shadows attacked for no reasoning of any action which you have performed to provoke it. But, be not perplexed. These people are primarily in your journey for the sake of diverting you from your way, and in the same movement, playing a vital part for you to come to understand yourself, for to be risen above your common responses and thinking, and therefore, into who you have been created to be, as all of which is perceived as a complicated dilemma, It has been created a necessity for one to know oneself fully. The dark times of this immense anger and resentment is created for one to not resent themselves through their own pains. Resenting yourself while through your turmoil is but losing yourself. You allow the pain to force you to be propelled out of your sound mind, which is being led by the divine, but suddenly betrayed by your giving into the pain of your past and the lasting pains of the present, which is relying upon the anger and rage to divert you from your destiny of knowing oneself entirely. The immense pain that one feels, coupled with the very convincing intelligence of what was wrong and what should have been done, and using the entity of regret as a device to convince and to entrap how one will be from this time forth, is important to understand the vital effects and of how they attack. The dual component of these effects is to have one face themselves and to choose who they are to be, in accordance to who they are meant to be. The environment tries to convince one that who they are meant to become has all of which to do with what has happened to them by way of those who have done them a moral disservice. This is not the fact. Who and what one is meant to become has only to do with the divine creator, alone, and what is sanctioned. Having the understanding of this is the primary factor of one evolution and survival. Times of anger, rage and darkness are revealed to the host for one important truth, and that is to allow them to understand that their healing is coming to an end, and that the effects of the past is trying to keep them in turmoil. This is the most predominant time, because of one has made a choice to remain in the darkness of their mind because of what transpired, instead of evolving from the darkness despite of what transpired. I chose to venture past the darkness of those effects and to become new and of what I have forever been. One says, I now understand that all of which has transpired was not to destroy me, but to purge things inside of me out which needed to die, so that I may in fact understand what living entails. Healing. Such a profound and beautiful journey. Written by David Anthony Brayboy.